Hey guys, this is Luck. These are my tips for raiding. This is not actually specific to Golem, but this is for all raids really. So the first thing you should do if you want to take the raid seriously is to solo the raid to the highest level you can on the first day. By soloing, you are not waiting for people to join your party. You can get your levels up as soon as possible. And the reason that you want to do it on the first day is because, say, you can only solo raids up to level, say, 60, and then after that you have trouble. So if on the third or fourth day, if you're trying to find people to join your level 61 raid, you're gonna have a lot of trouble with that because by then most people will probably be looking to join like level 90 plus raids. So if you get to level 60 today and say tomorrow you're trying to find people to join your level 60 raid, you'll probably have an easier time to do that than if you wait for more days. People try to find level 100 raids as soon as they can, so even like tomorrow it might be a bit difficult, but definitely by like say day 3 or 4 it'll be like really difficult to do that. So make sure that you play and get your raid levels up as soon as possible. If you want to take this raid seriously, there are other options that I'll talk about where if you're not taking the raid as seriously and you want to play kind of casually, there are things that you could do there. But and also another thing I want to note is although you're getting bonus points, it might make sense to ignore the bonus points, on the lower levels and just do these as quick as you can to get them up to a high level. For example, for me, I have Garval, which gives me a 50% bonus, but he's only level 89, and around level 30 he was starting to have trouble already. Instead, I switched to Halloween Leela, and she was able to finish these raids like very quickly. I think by like turn like 10 or even earlier, then she was already done the raids. So and for me, like level 30, level 40, I don't really care too much about the bonus points for those levels. So keep that in mind, and it might be worth it to ignore the bonus points at such low levels. The second thing I want to talk about is you are getting these rare raids at at least every 20 levels. Whenever you get your own rare raid, use your highest bonus unit that you have available for that rare raid. For example, the last rare raid, I had Raldor, and I just used Raldor even though he was level 40 for these rare raids, and I hosted a multiplayer with Raldor and let 3 level 99 Reigns join and destroy the rare raid. The reason I want to do that is because the rare raids only come once in a while, and they give so many points, especially if you're hosting. It's totally worth it to spend an extra orb and get the bonus points, get like the 50% multiplier on these points for these rare raids. So I definitely recommend you to do that. Use whatever highest bonus multiplier you have, even if it's a very low level unit, and host them in multiplayers and get bonus points for them. This point kind of goes along with the previous point that I was making, that it's okay to spend the raid orbs, um, especially like in the rare raids, like spend an additional turn on them. But even like for other normal attempts, it's okay to be using your raid orbs, like spend an additional raid orbs to get them as high as you can. The reason for that is because, like as you can see, I have 84 of these potions left. I never spent any Vizier getting them. I've just been randomly collecting them from, playing the game. And I can only use 21 for this raid no matter what. So there's no reason to not, it's okay to spend these orbs. It's okay to spend additional attempts doing them. Like say for example you're stuck on level 70, you can't do level 70 without spending an additional orb. That's okay. Spend an additional orb. You don't. It's much easier to do that than wait for people to join your parties and stuff like that. So um, don't feel bad about spending an extra attempt on them. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, and you can't do anything with these raid orbs anyway. Like these raid orb portions, if you keep saving them, what are you gonna do with it? So you know that's my recommendation, to spend get these levels up as high as you can, and if you need to use an extra orb to get them up to the highest as you can, do it. Sometimes it might be even okay to spend 2 orbs to get them up if you can't find people to join your parties. Now, bonus units are a thing, and they greatly help people to do these raids. But sometimes you might just not have any bonus units you can use, or maybe they're just low level that you can't use them for your raids. If you're playing multiplayer, you should still note what these bonus units are and make a plan for them. So what I mean is, for example, if you're using, say, you're hoping to have a party of 4 Sakuras beat this because you have a level 99 Sakura, that might not be a feasible plan because most people are probably not going to be using Sakura themselves, because they won't be getting a bonus, bonus points for it. So if you make a party for Sakura and say expecting 3 Sakuras in your room description, you'll probably have to wait a long time to find other Sakuras to join because like Sakura doesn't give you bonus points. So with that in mind, if you don't have any of these units and you want to stick to multiplayer, you have to use a unit that can go well with any of these bonus units. Like say for example, uh, you're expecting a lot of Garvel players to join your room. Maybe you can use Adelard because Adelard can provide a resistant break, which would reduce the boss's spirit by 38, which would increase the Garvels that join your room to do even more damage to him more quickly. So if you don't have any bonus units, I would suggest you would stick to a support character that you can use, that other players with bonus units can join your room. You won't get any points for them using a bonus unit, but at least you can have people join your room this way. So that would be my recommendation if you don't have any bonus units you can use. Um, yeah, but I hope you at least have like something you can use for the rare raids that I covered before. But for normal raids, if you don't have anything, just use a support character. Another point that I want to make with regards to unit selection is maybe you just don't have anything, good for this raid, but you are able to do something for the rare raid. Like say, in this rare raid, you're fighting an ice rare monster. So maybe you have a good fire unit that you can use. That is like, say you have Raldor, and Raldor is easy to take down the rare boss, but you're having trouble using him to take down the regular boss. It's okay to use these settings to find rare bosses that other people will deploy for you to help them take down. That might be the way for you to go sometimes. If you're just having trouble finding something to take on, the golem. In this case, the golem, but for other raids, it might be something else. So keep in mind that you have an option of just focusing on the rare raids as well if you need to. Now, in regards to the points, don't discount the points that you get from solo. Like if you're just looking at the victory section, you will see that the points that you get from solo mode are half the points that you get um, from playing a multiplayer of 4 units. However, you also get bonus points when you're doing it in solo for the damage you deal. And all points are multiplied by the multiplier. So if you have a 50% bonus unit, uh, it might be okay just to do this in solo because that's what I did last raid, and I found the points weren't that bad off. I don't remember them off the top of my head, so I don't want to quote it. But that like doing it on solo is, I think, still a pretty good option. Um, and if you are not able to farm a +5 equipment, it might make sense just to make a +0. Maybe even make like 2 or 3 +0s, because these UR gears, they're pretty powerful even at +0. So for example, the Elf Cloak, at level 50, it gives you disability resist. If you have +5, it also gives you 10 pierce resist. But just having an option that gives you disability resist be might be what you need for a particular boss, or even for like a particular PvP scenario if you're fighting units that keep disabling your characters. So it might make sense just to make like +0 if you don't want to take the raid seriously. If you just want to get enough points to get the item, uh, just get enough points. Just make a few +0 pieces, and that should be fine. Sometimes these UR units, not units, but UR items also have pretty high stats. Like again, that Elf Cloak has a defense of 16, which is pretty good. Pretty good. The Platinum Robe, a previous UR piece, I only have it at +2, but I've been using it a lot because it gives you 18 defense. I believe it's 18. Anyway, it gives you pretty high defense. So you don't need to get these at +5. Getting them at +0 might be what you need to do for your account if you can't focus on the raid. Uh, but if you do have time to farm more, uh, I would focus. I would spend more of my time worrying about getting enough recipes. Like the first thing I would do if I have um, like if I have extra coins, I would try to get 63 recipes. Like if I know that I can't build a +5 equipment, but I can I can do more than just get a +0. I would make the equipments that I want to make. Like say I would make two +0 pieces that I'm going to be using, and then I would buy 63 extra recipes of whatever gear I wanted to make. Because there are going to keep being future raids where some of these materials will be the same for this raid and a different raid. And maybe the item that you're getting from that future raid isn't really something you want. Or maybe you're having an easier time taking on that boss than this boss, and you have a better team for it. So you can farm that a lot easier. And you can get the materials just from defeating these bosses, but you won't get the materials from you won't get the recipes from the bosses. So try to focus on getting the recipes, and then the other materials, they are secondary. Like if you have limited resources, the recipes is what you need to be going for. Like I have many 63 recipes built for several raid items that I have not built yet. But the previous raid that I had, I was able to very easily auto my team and get a ton of equipment that I was able to build like three different +5 UR pieces. All I had was the recipes from before, but I was able to build them out just from being able to do the previous raid very easily. So again, that's my tip. Another tip for you. That's what you should be focusing on. If you can't build a +5 item, at least get the 63 recipes. Those are all my tips for the raids. If you have some tips of your own, please leave them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all for now. This has been Locke. Take care now.